Welcome. How are you doing today? So yesterday at work, I was sitting at my desk and I was eating a little package of trail mix. Wow. A life of luxury. And one of my coworkers leaned over into my cube and was like, "I'm gonna be nosy. What are you eating?" And with a mouthful of nuts, I just turned the package around and held it closer to her so that she could read the label. And she had more questions. "Oh, is that a good brand? Do you like that?" "It's trail mix." No matter what brand, it's pretty much the fucking same. There's two kinds. The kind with M&Ms and the kind without M&Ms. And I said, I don't know. I searched for assorted trail mix on Amazon and I bought the cheapest one. And she's like, "Oh, okay. So you grocery shop on Amazon?" And I was like, "No, I just ordered the trail mix on Amazon." She asked me if I ever go to Sprouts. And I said, "No." And she wanted to start talking about grocery stores in Austin. She asked me where I do my grocery shopping. And I told her I go to this HEB that is not in Austin. She mentioned Sprouts again and how they have their bulk food section and, how they have trail mix there and it's really great. She's talking about it like I've never seen a bulk food section in my fucking life. She starts talking about these two Sprouts locations in Austin that are not at all in any direction that I live or work or go. And here's the thing. I was just sitting there eating my fucking food.
You should have just sat there and ate your food because you need to shut the fuck up.
This might sound rude, but when I'm eating my food, I don't want to talk to you about eating my food. Because then you know what that means? That means I'm no longer eating my food. I'm talking to you about eating the food. And I would rather just be eating the food. She told me about this one particular HEB location in Austin that she doesn't like and she'll never go to again because the parking lot is a madhouse. And I've been there and the parking lot is a madhouse. She's right, and I agreed. And then she said, "Oh, and I can't even go into a Whole Foods." Do you shop at Whole Foods? Now, girl, I just told you I don't live in Austin. I told you the town that I do my grocery shopping in. Do you think that town has a fucking Whole Foods? Are you kidding me? That town didn't even have their own fucking hospital until like a year ago. And she wanted to talk about Whole Foods and their bulk food section and how everything there is just so expensive. It is no secret that Whole Foods has been incredibly expensive for at least 15 years. It has been an issue with Whole Foods. And then she wanted to go, "Didn't Whole Foods, aren't they owned by Amazon now?" And I said, I don't know. She asked me if I ever went to a Whole Foods, and I said I used to go to the original one with my parents when I was a kid, but that was before the flood, and they had to move. If you're familiar with Austin, we have the mothership. It is the Whole Foods, like, flagship store, and that's where, like, their corporate office is. I don't go there for various reasons. But also, there's no fucking parking. Anyway, so my coworker is unfamiliar with the original Whole Foods. And I said, "Well, it used to be a couple blocks north from where it is now." And she's like, "Well, what is it now?" And I was like, "Well, what it is now probably isn't what that building is anymore." And she goes, "I've only been in Austin for 9 years. That's okay. The original Whole Foods was a couple blocks north of where it is now, and it's kind of in a floodplain, and we had a flood, and it went underwater, and then they moved to a location about a block south, and the building that flooded got taken over by Cheapos, which is like a used CD store. I doubt they're still there. But that's what it was like 10 years ago. She brings up the Sprouts again and the bulk foods, and she's like, "Oh, next time I'll get you some chocolate-covered cherries." At this point, I was very uncomfortable because this conversation that I didn't want to be having, it was going on too long. Like, I don't want to talk to you about Austin grocery stores. I can tell you about the original Whole Foods because that is lore, and I don't, there used to be a Sun Harvest, which was in the same strip mall as where the yogurt shop murders were. Y'all remember those? They still didn't solve it. So the chocolate-covered cherries. I said, "Well, I don't really like cherries. You don't have to buy me anything. It's okay." And, there's a lot of reasons that I don't like to eat around people. A lot of it has to do with my mom, starting from when I was pretty young, regarding food and my body, and it continued on. And I left my mom's house when I was 16, and I gained 80 pounds in 2 years, because I finally, for the first time in my life, had fucking control over what I put in my mouth, and I just went apeshit. But I really don't, I don't eat at work. That's why I keep trail mix in my desk to just hold me over, because I'm not gonna go sit in the fucking break room, because people will ask you questions. They're so fucking interested and curious about what other people are eating. And like I said, I don't want to talk to you about what I'm eating. I want to eat what I'm eating. And you're kind of, throwing a wrench in my process. I don't want to eat if I can't enjoy my food. And my job is not a place where I can enjoy food. A couple years ago, on my lunch break from work, I went out and I bought a veggie burger, and I went back to work and I put it in the refrigerator, and I was going to save it and have it when I got home for dinner. But at a certain point in the afternoon, I had gotten so hungry, I was like, I can't fucking take it anymore. So I ran into the break room. It was empty. I grabbed my veggie burger out of the fucking fridge, and I smashed it into my face and took this giant bite. And in walks this other woman that I work with, and she looks at the bag that my food came in and points at it, and she's like, oh, is that place good? Do you like that place? I have a fucking mouthful and I'm chewing, and I just nodded, and she had follow-up questions. She was like, I've never been there. What do you get? What is it like? What do they have? Again, I'm eating. Also, what do you mean, do I like that place? If I didn't like it, would I be sitting here with a face full of fucking veggie patty? So I swallowed that one bite. I wrapped the rest of my burger back up, smashed it into the bag, and put it back in the fridge, and walked out of the break room. I don't know why. Why do they do this to me? I'm not going to talk to you with my mouth full. Don't talk to me for the sake of making conversation, just for the sake of making conversation. I don't feel like that's a conversation worth having. It is a waste of both of our time. And even earlier this year in the winter, I had bought this package of soup packets, And I would put it in a cup of hot water, in a mug in the break room, and I would take the mug to my desk and I would drink the soup. And there was one day I was in there with my little box of soup packets, and I was putting one into some hot water, and someone comes over and picks up the box and was like, ooh, what are you having? I said, it's just soup in a cup mix, man. Do they do this to each other? Or are they only marveling at the spectacle of seeing the skinny bitch fucking eat something? I sound paranoid, don't I? I also want to say that I like the people I work with. I'm not complaining about them as people. I'm just pointing out specific things that they do that irk my nerves. I had other video topics planned for this week, but I just couldn't work myself up to have the energy to talk about it. But man, it's been years of these people bothering me when I'm trying to eat, and I just needed someone to talk to about it. So I want to thank you for listening. I feel like forgiveness is very important, so I want you to forgive yourself for the time that you have wasted watching this video. And have a good day.